Do I hear a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Brodsky, second, Mr. Reimer. Ms. Davis. Will you poll the board, please?
Mr. Reimer?
Yes.
Oh, we're voting. Aye.
Mr. Vaught?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski? Aye. Mrs. Cunha? Aye. And Mr. Pagano?
Aye.
Mr. Vaughn, will you please read the certification of closed session?
Be glad to, thank you. Whereas the New Kent County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the New Kent County School Board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the New Kent County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirement of Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the New Kent County School Board.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Do I hear a motion to approve the certification of the closed session?
A motion to approve the certification.
Mr. Pagano wins on the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Cunha with the second. Mr. Roberts still just.
I'm slow.
Ms. Davis, will you please poll the board?
Mr. Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaught?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski? Aye. Ms. Cunha? Aye. Mr. Pagano?
Aye.
All right, we're on to item number 2, which is our pledge of allegiance. So please stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may have noticed that tonight's meeting opens up a little bit differently than typical meetings because it has me with the gavel, which I will gladly give away in just a moment. January, Happy New Year. This is our reorganization meeting. So at our reorganization meeting, we have to elect a chair for 2025 and then a vice chair. So we're going to start with item 3, which is election of a chair. So the floor is now open to take nominations for chair. Do I hear a motion to nominate a chair?
I make a motion and nominate Mr. Keith Pagano as chair of the New Kent County School Board.
Okay, so we have Mr. Pagano as a nomination. Are there any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, is there a second for Mr. Pagano?
I second.
Okay, Ms. Cunha seconds the motion for Mr. Pagano. Ms. Davis, will you please poll the board nomination of chair?
Mr. Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaught?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski? Aye. Ms. Cunha? Aye. Mr. Pagano?
No. Aye.
All right.
too easy.
The motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Pagano. You are our chair.
Thank you very much.
And there's your gavel, and I'll go back to being superintendent.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to move on to the next item, which is taking nominations for vice chair. So do I hear a motion to nominate a vice chair?
I move to nominate Ron Vaught.
Are there any other nominations?
I move to nominate Heather Dombrowski for vice chair.
Do we have a second on the nomination for Mr. Vaught?
I second.
Do we have a second on the nomination for Ms. Dombrowski?
I second. Oh, I can't because I didn't.
You made the motion, so you cannot second.
All right, hearing no second, we're going to poll the board for the nomination of Mr. Vaught to be vice chair. Ms. Davis?
Mr. Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaught,
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski. Aye. Ms. Cunha,
Aye.
Mr. Pagano.
Aye.
So the motion stands with Mr. Vaught being vice chair.
All right, moving on to the next item for the appointment of clerk and deputy clerk. Is there a motion to reappoint Ms. Johanna Davis as clerk and Dr. Brian Nichols as deputy clerk of the New Kent County School Board?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Davis, please poll.
Mr. Reimer,
Aye.
Mr. Vaught,
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski. Aye. Ms. Cunha,
Aye.
Mr. Pagano.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to the adoption of the code of conduct. Do I hear a motion to adopt the code of conduct for the school board members and the school board clerk as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Dombrowski has the second. Ms. Davis, poll the board, please.
Mr. Reimer,
Aye.
Mr. Vaught,
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski. Aye. Ms. Cunha,
Aye.
Mr. Pagano.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is presentations and recognitions of Dr. Brian Nichols.
Thank you, sir. The first one I will do from my seat, the second one I will move to the podium. So the first recognition we have, and they are all present today, is Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week, also called No Snow Week. That is January 13th through the 17th. I have the honor and privilege of working with these 5 individuals on a daily basis. I also, actually, I've now been here a long time, I've had the honor and privilege of hiring these 5 individuals. So I do want to recognize them tonight. They do incredible work every day and really lead our school division forward. So we have Dr. Teresa O'Day from New Kent Elementary, who's here with us this evening. Ms. Tammy Jarrett, George Watkins Elementary, Ms. Chris Pilger, Quinn Elementary, Dr. Frank Wheeler at New Kent Middle School, and Ms. Allison Strickland at New Kent High School. So I just want to thank them. The things that happen at these board meetings actually get implemented with these principles in place. So, and whether it is cell phone policies or weapons detection or any of the things that we've taken on already this year, it lands in their building, in their school, and they lead it, they do it well. So I just want to thank them for the work they do and celebrate them every day, but also on Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week. Would you like to join me? Yes, sir. For the next set of recognitions? I don't know how to get out of this. I'll follow you. All right, good evening again. We're excited tonight to celebrate our Teachers of the Year for 25-26. If you want to talk about an incredibly difficult process of all the fantastic teachers we have in New Kent to select a Teacher of the Year for each building, which is incredibly difficult, and then turn around and select a division Teacher of the Year that goes on to compete at the region is even more difficult. So we do have our Teachers of the Year here with us this evening, and we'd like to recognize each of them. So unlike the principals, you actually have to come up front because we have great things for you. So when I call your name, if you'll come up towards the podium, we'll shake hands and I also have something for you. And then if you make your way over to Ms. Cunha and Ms. Davis, then you have to stand there awkwardly while we call the rest of the folks and take some really great pictures. So we want to start with New Kent Elementary, and New Kent Elementary's Teacher of the Year is Sally Coppenberg. Ms. Cochran is a school counselor at New Kent Elementary School. One of her guiding philosophies is that it really only takes one caring adult to change the life of a child. And if you've worked in New Kent Elementary, you get to see that she does that each and every day with whatever comes her way. So, incredible Teacher of the Year. George Watkins Elementary School's Teacher of the Year is Kelsey Schmidt. Ms. Schmidt has transitioned to pre-K this year, took on that lead, and every day she comes with a smile and an encouraging word. She loves her students unconditionally, and you see that in action every day at George Watkins. Congratulations, Ms. Schmidt. Quinton Elementary's Teacher of the Year is Lauren Laws.
Congratulations, thank you.
Ms. Laws is a fourth grade teacher at Quinton Elementary, and I have to say she's also very shy. Anybody knows that's sarcasm. She brings a ton of passion to education. She brings an incredible amount of laughter. You never know what you're going to see when you are in Quinton. I won't even say by her classroom because it transcends those walls. Each day she fosters a love of lifelong learning in all of her students. When we went in and recognized her, it was absolutely amazing to see the kids' reaction. So congratulations, Ms. Laws. Right, New Kent Middle School's Teacher of the Year is Rachel Feeney.
Congratulations, thank you.
Ms. Finney teaches theater, drama theater at New Kent Middle School. If you saw the production of Wizard of Oz last year, it was absolutely mind-blowing what her students are able to do. She spends countless hours after school, on the weekends, building sets, doing things to provide opportunities for her students. And she also advocates for her students and for her department on what they need. So congratulations, Ms. Finney. It doesn't always work this way, but now I get to introduce you to New Kent High School's Teacher of the Year and also our New Kent School Division Teacher of the Year, and that is none other than Leanne Jordan.
Thank you so much.
Extra fanciness. Right?
Thank you very much.
So Ms. Jordan is a biology environmental science teacher. She consistently inspired her students to do their best and strive for excellence. I think one of my memories of Ms. Jordan is when she was becoming a teacher and seeing her at her events supporting students and her family, but also in class at the same time on the screen and juggling both of those. So she goes above and beyond, and we're better because she's here with us. So she also represents us at the next level when we win the region and then go on and win a state title. So I don't want to forecast it, but if anybody should, it is Ms. Jordan. So thank you again to our Teachers of the Year. Thank you for representing us, and more importantly, thank you for doing what you do for our students. Congratulations. Mr. Chair, that concludes my recognitions.
Thank you, everybody, and again, congratulations to all the amazing teachers. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. Call the meeting back to order. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. With respect to the consent agenda, do I have any motions?
I move that we accept the consent agenda. Don't we have to read a passage about the consent agenda first?
Before we do that, I'm asking if there are any motions regarding the consent agenda.
I would like to make the motion that the approval of the minutes be delayed, removed from the consent agenda.
Ms. Dombrowski has made a motion to table 6B, or the minutes section of the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Davis, if you pull the board, please.
Mr. Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaught?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski? Aye. Ms. Cunha?
Aye.
Mr. Pagano?
Aye. Motion to table the minutes has passed 5-0. Now, board members, by now you've had the opportunity to review the remaining items listed in the consent agenda, including the monthly bills and payroll, and the superintendent's recommendations regarding personnel and student matters. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, with the exception of the minutes?
So moved.
You need a clarification on first and second?
I'm gonna say Cunha and Vaught.
Perfect. Please pull the board.
Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaught?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski? Aye. Ms. Cunha?
Aye.
Mr. Pagano?
Aye. Motion has passed. We move on to number 7 on the agenda, new business. This is the appointment of school board members to various committees and external boards. Dr. Nichols, please.
Yes, board members, you've seen the committees. Thank you.
This is what was last year.
So these are the similar committees that we had last year. Each year we look at them and determine whether we need to make any shifts or changes related to them. So, board members, do you have any shifts or changes or things continue in the capacities that you were in last year?
Mr. Chair, if I may. I have a bit of a conflict, because I'm both on the, Creighton Elementary School PTO and the New Kent Middle School PTO. And it seems like, with the shift and change, they might be meeting at the same time on the same day. So I was wondering if someone would, agree to take on the New Kent Middle School PTO for me, or
Leave us the middle school.
I believe it's Thursday, third Thursday.
I'm moving.
So we'll move Mr. Reimer to New Kent Middle School PTO, and so Ms. Cunha, you will come off with New Kent Middle School PTO, correct? Yeah.
Correct, and the other request I would have is if I would be able to, if someone would take on New Kent Education Foundation this year, I would like the opportunity to be on the school renovations committee.
You know what the commitment is to the New Kent Educational Foundation meetings?
It is once, I'm sorry, Ms. Cunha.
Yeah, once a month, I believe it's on Tuesdays, well, not Tuesday, second Tuesday?
Yeah.
At 4:30 in the afternoon. And
I can do that if you'd like.
I'd appreciate it, because that's also the day that usually the Creighton Elementary School meets.
All right, so Mr. Vaught, you would come on to New Kent Education Foundation?
Yeah.
Ms. Cunha, pending Mr. Pagano on school renovations? So,
I missed, we mean pending.
so right now, Mr. Pagano's on school renovations, Ms. Cunha's asking to be on school renovations, so that would be,
Both.
okay. Well, and I'll say this because we're going into a big project with New Kent Elementary School, it will require, we wouldn't have 2 board members on there. So if the board is okay with Ms. Cunha joining that,
I think it's a great idea.
okay. All right, so we will add Ms. Cunha. That is a committee that sort of was dormant last year as we got towards the design piece, but now it will really take off. It was big when we built Quinn as well, so that one in intensity comes with us, okay? Looking at your list, any other changes, or?
Let's go down the line. District 1, I'm good as it stands with the changes suggested. Ms. Cunha?
I agree. I'm in agreement.
Ms. Dombrowski?
I agree. I wonder if it would be possible to add a board representative to SEAC officially.
Of course,
Yeah, we can't really see it.
I can't see that.
There's
Yeah.
SEAC is not on there.
Yes, I'm looking to
Oh, okay.
Dr. Young, I couldn't see it past the,
Okay.
just to confirm that, I think you've been attending those meetings.
Yes.
There's no objection or reason that we couldn't add Special Education Advisory Committee, we already have School Health Advisory. So board members, that's, from our lens, no issue at all. It's up to,
Does any other board member have a comment about Ms. Dombrowski's suggestion?
No, I think it's a great idea. She's already involved in it, they're already meeting, we might as well make it put on the list. Maybe that's something that, down the road, other board members would want to be
Yeah.
involved in too.
so
I agree.
we'll add Special Education Advisory Committee, and Ms. Dombrowski, we're gonna put you as the representative
And
there.
then I get an extra stipend for that.
Dr. Young, I'll let you work through that one.
Yeah, cancel that.
Mr. Vaught, any other suggestions?
Well, Chesapeake Bay Governor's School was meeting via Zoom, now we're back. I'll be there Thursday evening. If someone else would like to take that on, I would be grateful, being I'm under Bridging Communities, Chesapeake Bay Governor's School, George Watkins PTA, or PTO, and now the School Health Advisory Board.
Education.
Educational.
I believe you volunteered to be on the UCAN Education Foundation.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's the fourth or fifth. If someone would like to, would be interested in the Chesapeake Bay Governor's School, I would appreciate it. If not, I will continue. I'll be there this Thursday anyway.
And they're Thursday nights.
They vary.
And it's a combination, Mr. Butts, it's a combination, because Chesapeake Bay covers 3 campuses all the way from Warsaw to Glens and in between. They do a lot of their work via Zoom, and I think once or twice a year they come, their meetings are quarterly, similar to ours.
Yeah.
Mostly through Zoom just because of proximity and distance. But there is an occasional,
And when they meet, it's typically in Warsaw, so that it's
So it's usually a Zoom.
typically a Zoom.
But again, it's a Thursday, it
Yeah.
depends. So is it the third Thursday? I just don't want it to conflict, because Thursdays seem to be meeting days for these committees and boards. Can only be in one place at one time.
Well, let's, for the sake of moving ahead, let's leave it as it is. I'm fine with that, and we'll work through it if there's an issue later. If that's okay with Mr. Chair?
That's certainly okay with me, and we can confirm meeting dates and times for all these things, make sure we don't have conflicts.
Okay.
with the
We'll do
clerks.
Can we possibly review that at the work session and finalize it then, or?
I think we can certainly add that to the agenda, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Reimer, any input?
No, I'm good.
I do have a question. If for some reason one of us can't make it to our scheduled meeting, is it best practice to see if one of the other board members can attend on our behalf, or can we just let it lie?
I mean, I would think that's good practice, if you're unavailable, see if somebody else can cover for you, and if not, just somehow
I think it
let the
depends.
committee know.
I think it depends. I don't know. It's a good idea for the governor's school, for instance, because, there's something to be said for continuity there. But the other meetings, I think that's probably a good idea.
Well, I think, Mr. Chair, if I may,
You may.
I think that holds true with every one of these committees, and they're all, I think, equally weighted and important. And I think that by having another board member there, at least you can represent the New Kent County School Board, and gather information to be passed back to whoever couldn't make it, is my point.
works.
Anyone else? Any comments?
Okay, just summarize, we'll make the changes that we discussed tonight, we'll bring them to the work session, and then we'll have an update on when these meet, so you can look at it one more time, and make sure. Okay?
Sounds right, thank you.
And the agenda to remove the vote from the action items. We are usually coming for a vote, I believe.
Yes, board members, this is on your agenda for approval this evening.
So I move that we approve the appointments.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan, can you repeat yourself, I couldn't hear you.
I move that we approve the appointments that we just made.
I think what we're doing, Mr. Reimer, is tabling that for a minute, so that we can verify schedules and appointments, and then get a final rendition and approve it next time.
Okay?
Anybody second Mr. Reimer's motion?
By the way, just a point of order, I'm having a little bit difficulty hearing from that side of the room.
Likewise, yeah, it's not great in here.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion that we delay the final decision on this until the work session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Davis, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you poll the board, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Reimer. Mr. Vaughn.
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski.
Aye.
Ms. Cunha. Aye. And Mr. Pagano.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Correct, motion passes 5-0, thank you. Next topic is the FY '26 budget update, Ms. Morgan.
Yes, Mr. Chair, board members, Dr. Nichols. When are we not talking about budget? I feel like we talk about budget all the time, right? So most of what I'm gonna say probably you already know, but we just wanted to give you an update. We did have a governor's budget released. We did have a VAS shared conference last Monday and Tuesday that we attended virtually because of the weather, and it was still a great conference, so thank you to all of those people who made that possible. We still did not have a calc tool at that time, but we do have one now. And really, because it's the second year of the biennium, there's not a lot of surprises. We kind of knew what was there. I think the big changes will come with any adjustments that we might see coming from crossover, and there's a little bit of money to be had, so we're hopeful that K-12 education will be the recipient of some of that. But right now, really when I look at the calc tool, there's about approximately $700,000 in additional state funding. With that being said, there's also a proposed 3% increase for staff, for SOQ funded staff. Of that increase, only about 500,000 of that is for that purpose. So right, we talked about this in the past, it's really not fully funded, so at that point, for reference, last year, 3% cost us $944,901. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy there, even if we just looked at, let's do a 3% for staff. So with that being said, I'd say that we should all expect that we will have an ask to the county for additional local support in our budget this year. It will be very important for us to advocate for that. We will have very many conversations with Mr. Hathaway and Mr. Lawrence and their staff along the way and in the process, and really take it. We're gonna have to have a recommended budget, but we know that that budget most likely will need to be amended at some point. And what that looks like, probably about late February, would be when we really start to see what some of the impact may be and changes to the state revenues. We would then approve a budget of some sort based on those. Hopefully they'll be very similar and we can project a little bit of an increase at that time. And then the budget will be adopted by the county later in May. So at that point, if there were any changes, usually we try to get those squeezed into that adopted budget before we finalize it. Our goal, I think, with contracts would be to try to make sure that we can at least get to a certain commitment of where we feel good in our budget, so that we could do contracts before the budget is adopted, similar to what we did last year.
And board members, that was instrumental in our hiring
Yeah.
process last year. Just want to thank you for your commitment to working with us to get to the point we can go forward with those contracts. We were able to retain and then hire ahead of most. And that took a collective commitment, which we'll be working through again this year to try to get to that point.
We do have position requests due from departments and principals by the end of this week. As you know, we held our budget forums in the schools. We had a community forum, so thank you to our community members who did come. We had a few. We had some good topics that we discussed. There are definitely some themes that you'll see in our priorities that we bring to you to discuss. Special education definitely being one of them. Also, Dr. Nichols and I are planning with staff to go back into the schools, kind of mini sessions about retention and really hearing folks' story of why New Kent, why are you here? Why did you come here? Why are you staying here? What do we do different? To your point, Mr. Vaught, you know, just a lot of the things that we do outside of salary and benefits, really what can we do more of creatively to make sure that we're not only attracting people into New Kent, but then keeping them here as part of Team New Kent. So stay tuned for that. We'll have our advisory meetings. Dr. Nichols has a ton of them, and we will go through the budget with all of those groups, and that will be in February. So just really, again, it's a year-round process. We have a lot of information already, but we're constantly learning, and we're balancing kind of the impact of the state budget and then what the locality is going to do as far as their budget as well. Any questions on any of that?
Mr. Chair? Sir, do we have, if I remember correctly, you had a poll of salaries around in neighboring counties and districts.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a date when we're planning on having that?
So we usually will try to put something like that together in our budget presentation, Mr. Reimer. I know
I would like that.
Dr. Nichols has a meeting tomorrow where he'll get a little intel from other divisions on what they're planning, preliminary planning. I have a regional meeting every other week where I'll start to compare and contrast what other divisions are doing. It makes it a little harder to project out for next year, but we can certainly look at the current year and provide kind of where we are, which helps a little bit to see, and we do that for the teacher salary.
Yes, thank you. As early as we can get that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I'd like to just, sorry, Mr. Vaught, just kind of set the tone. What I'd like to do moving forward, just to keep order with everybody in the district, just kind of go down the line. So I don't have any questions or comments. Mr. Cunha, did you have any?
I do not.
Ms. Dombrowski?
Can you explain, Haney, the way that the raise works when the state says 3%? Can you just explain, because I know that it's not just taking it out of face value and saying, oh, well, the state says you get 3%, so if you can just re-explain that.
Sure, and I'll break it down a little bit, because it depends on what year we're in and what the rules are. So what I mean by that is oftentimes they'll come and they'll say, for example, you know, teachers are receiving a 3% raise, and it would be a statement, you know, such as that. For us, that's really only SOQ funded positions based on what the state is funding. And so oftentimes it's not as simple for divisions, especially smaller divisions, to say, okay, great, thank you for that money, and then that equates to exactly what we're talking about. Oftentimes it's a lot less. So what the state will do sometimes is they may prorate that. So let's say that there's a division and I'm only gonna be able to afford 2%. Then you get a little bit of funding. Or oftentimes they might say all or nothing. So either you do it, the whole thing, or you don't do any and you get no funding. So sometimes it just depends on how it's written in the budget document. But really, typically if they say 3%, that's kind of what they're holding you to, and you just have to confirm that you're able to do that to receive the portion of state funding that they're gonna give you. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, and then the county has to come in with whatever portion it is, but it may be different from year to year. Is that what you're saying, how much the county has to put forward?
Yes, so yes and no. So dollar for dollar, if you're gonna provide a 3% raise, and let's say it costs you $1 million, but the state's only gonna give you $500,000, then you have to, for that purpose, so there's actually a line item that says compensation adjustments, $500,000. There's other line items though that the state may give you additional funding for, at risk, SOL remediation, things of those nature. You can choose to use those state-funded dollars to support your raise, or you could also ask the county for a local increase to fund the other portion of the raise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not
So
that.
you could have additional state revenue that
Right.
could fund that, or you could not, and you have to find it somewhere else. So it's hard to say a hard yes or no on that.
But, and just
It really depends.
connected to the standards of quality, what the standards of quality say you can have or should have, you cannot run a school division on. So we have, every school division has more than what the standards of quality, and I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So standards of quality say, and this is code, assistant principals in elementary school, 1 half-time at 600 students. Now, if you try to run an elementary school with a half-time assistant principal with 600 kids, and a full-time at 900, I know our elementary folks left, but they would be. So those numbers, so when you get funding, it is for SOQ funded positions, so when we go over that, you're also not getting that funding. In high schools, 1 full-time for 600 kids. So, it's just, the ratios that they have that they fund are not what any school division actually utilizes to make a school division fund. And that's for class size, and because some of the class size numbers, we would not do that, it's those pieces, so that's where you get a little bit of deficit.
And I think that we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the funding formula of what that could look like and be more student-driven. But I think that's a little bit of a ways out. But they're doing a great job of allowing us to have some input on those decisions, and so we just need to be mindful of that and follow it. But absolutely, right now, we don't say, well, you're SOQ funded, but you're not. There's no way to pick who is and who
You
isn't.
get a full-time art when you get to 1,000 elementary school students.
Yeah.
It's just another example. So it's just, so when people say, SOQs, that we're well above SOQs in you have to be, because you can't operate otherwise, which, once again, goes back to the locality and their share.
And we'll get into it more at the work session, but one thing I will note too is oftentimes we have increased state revenues because our ADM is increasing. Years ago, we really pushed on our ADM a little bit. I like to be more conservative in budgeting for that. So I probably most likely will leave our ADM where it currently is funded, just to get a little bit closer back to where we've been in the past. And also something else that I'd really like to see is more of a contingency line item in our budget. So also just kind of keep that in the back of your brain while we're talking about budget, and just, there's gonna be a lot of priorities, but we just need to be smart about the work that we're doing, which I think we always are, but just need your support in doing that.
Mr. Dombrowski, anything further?
Remind me what ADM.
Average daily membership, it's the basis of kind of what you receive your funding for each year.
And when you said they give you some leverage, are you referring to the state, to the legislature, to the?
No, more, they will actually put an ADM in their calculation tool of what the state budget is calculated on. And you, as a division, you can either choose to use the number that they have in there, or you can make an adjustment if you feel comfortable with where you will really land. It used to be that ours was higher at the state budget level, and we would reduce it a little bit to what we felt more comfortable with. Now it's a little bit of the opposite. We're pushing a little higher than what the state says our enrollment is, but we don't want to get too far off from that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mr. Vaught?
Yeah, with respect to the conversations or information you gather from the current and existing staff for teacher retention, I have a great interest in that and figuring out how and what we can do with that going forward above and beyond. The salary match game is like a gas war, on the street, and you can't win that. So I would be very interested, Mr. Chair, one, if that information could be sent to us and or maybe even a presentation. But in addition to that, maybe the board consider at some point down the road of picking this up and put it on the plate for priority and working toward that. Thank you.
Well, I would just comment off of that, Mr. Brock, that information molds well with one of the items we have in the strategic plan.
Yeah.
And so if the rest of the board agrees, then I would say that as a board, we make a request to share with us, please, any information that you have in speaking with these teachers so that we can then complement or, incorporate some of those retention ideas into the strategic plan moving forward.
Dr. Nichols and I started some of those conversations when we were in our budget forums, and some of the stories that we heard from folks of why they're here were really impressive and just heartwarming, and they definitely have a lot of really creative things, why they're here, just things you wouldn't even think of. So I think it'll turn into a campaign, something
Yeah.
maybe that we even do some videos on and
We'll use
share,
it for
not just
budget,
with
but
you
it'll
guys,
also
but
be shared by other people like
Yeah.
Brian Buchanan, if
Yeah.
they're not already here.
Sure.
like our Monument 10K now can be maybe something that someone appreciates that we're doing as a team, but just, really anything.
Yeah, what matters?
Thank
But
you.
we can definitely do it, yes, sir.
Anybody else?
The only thing I would like to add is, yes, the salary game is the gas war, but we need to impress upon our supervisors that we are not, that we are prudent with our money, and that our teachers are not asking unreasonable amounts. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Next item on the agenda, item number 8 is old business. This is actually my item. Fellow board members, you remember in the past meeting, we approved the 2025 school board meeting calendar as amended, which includes a shift from Monday night meetings to Tuesday night meetings in the middle of the year or thereabouts. In looking at the calendar for the remainder of the year, there's one date that I have a conflict with, and so I'm asking that we amend that. It is August 12th, which is a Tuesday, and I would like to move that 1 week earlier to August 5th. So that will be coming up in a minute under the action items, just moving that a week earlier, because that, August 12th, I will be out of town, and I don't want to not participate in that meeting. Anybody have any questions or comments about that? Hearing none, moving on to citizen comment period. We have no signups, so we are skipping right into our action items. The first action item has been tabled, so we're moving on to the second action item, which is my adjustment on the calendar for that August 12th through August 5th date. So do I hear a motion to approve the school board meeting calendar
So
update?
moved.
Second?
Thank you very much. Ms. Davis, please poll the board.
Mr. Reimer?
Aye.
Mr. Vaughn?
Aye.
Ms. Dombrowski?
Aye.
Ms. Cunha? Aye. And Mr. Panana?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, guys. That concludes our regularly scheduled business. Our next meeting will be Monday, February 3rd, 2025 at 5:30 PM, closed section. Sorry. Oh, I apologize. I went a little too fast. School board members and superintendent, it is comment period time. I'm looking at two different things. I missed that one. Sorry, guys. So, Ms. Cunha, I'll let you lead off. Any comments?
Just want to thank Dr. Nichols and the rest of the staff for doing a great job with the whole snow day situation, getting everything organized and keeping the kids safe. Safety is always number one, not only the kids but the staff. So hopefully we'll have no more snow days. I will say I really enjoyed the snow days, but hope the kids did too. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Mr. Borowski?
I just wanted to echo that as well, and really appreciate, Dr. Nichols kept us apprised of the tremendous work that the transportation department was doing, and just want to thank, Mr. Hanson for that, and all the school bus drivers and car drivers and everybody who made everything safe and workable, and for everything that Dr. Nichols and the staff had to do to keep everyone on board. Yeah, so thank you very much, and happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Vaughn?
Yeah, I just want to recognize once again, or congratulate the Teachers of the Year. All of our staff is exemplary, and to be recognized to that degree is quite a recognition. And I just so appreciate staff and teachers and how things are moving forward, so, thank you.
Mr. Ryder?
I just want to say thank you all for the opportunity to serve the board as sheriff last year. I really appreciate the interactions with the board and with the administration, and I wish you luck, sir, as you lead us this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Dr. Nichols?
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year to everyone. I know everybody loves a break, and everybody had a wonderful break. Those 2 extra days just drove me crazy. I've missed our kids, I've missed our staff. So excited to get back, and I'm glad we were able to work through the weekend weather, and everybody was back this week. Because this is a full week as we begin to close out the semester. Next week, we are off Monday for Martin Luther King holiday, and then Friday's a work day, and then we have some days, half days mixed in, so we really needed this week for consistency to close out the semester. So it's so good to see our kids, it's so good to see our staff again, and kind of get back in that rhythm. And just to echo the board's comments, I know everybody looks for social media or for the voice of weather, Mr. Hoffman, to come across their phones, but the work that goes into making that decision is incredible. And I get to work with some of the best people in the world to make that decision. So I want to thank our transportation department because they are out on the roads. I do it because I have a Jeep and I think it's kind of fun to get out there. They do it because it is what they do and they're experts in it. But they also know how to drive those 70-passenger buses. So they give us the green light on when it's safe, when we need to delay, when we need to close. So transportation, thank you for the incredible job you do. And then our drivers are top notch. So I have great confidence when we make that call that our drivers are going to be able to handle it and make it happen. And then the other part that sometimes gets left out is our maintenance team. So we have to shovel and plow, and we do all of that work here on site, and they get our grounds ready. I know several times I texted the board, like, if it's up to our school grounds, we're ready to roll. So I'm not sure about Old Church, I'm not sure about some of the other roads in the county, but we're ready, and it just can't do it without an amazing team. And New Kent is a team, that's why we say Team New Kent. You get to see some of the best of the best, but that's just scratching the surface. So very thankful to be here in the new year and work alongside you. So thank you, sir.
Awesome, thank you. I'll wrap up by mirroring some of those comments. So thank you, the leadership, to Team New Kent through the storms. Congratulations to all our principals and teachers tonight. And then I just want to make a comment, thank the board again. I'm honored to be elected chair. It's a responsibility and a privilege that I will take very seriously. I look forward to continue working with you guys, school leaders and the New Kent families to keep pursuing educational excellence in our district. So thank you very much for the opportunity once again. And now, our next meeting will be Monday, February 3rd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. for closed session, 6 p.m. for regular session in the New Kent Historic Courthouse boardroom. We're back on track with that, hopefully.
Yes, that's the mission.
All right.
We're ready to reopen.
With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.